Rashid, 23, wiped the grease off his hands with a rag that had seen better days. His small garage, tucked in a narrow alley of the city, was a world unto itself. Half the tools scattered haphazardly, the other half organized neatly on shelves he had built himself. The faint smell of motor oil mixed with rain-soaked dust outside, a scent that Rashid had grown strangely fond of over the years. The hum of a faulty ceiling fan overhead and the occasional drip of water from the corrugated roof were the only sounds in his sanctuary. Until today, the rain had started early that afternoon, pattering on the tin roof like a soft percussion, and the streets were slick with water, reflecting the dull grey of the sky. Rashid had been wiping down the hood of an old sedan when a sudden roar of a struggling engine cut through the rhythmic sound of rain. He instinctively looked up and squinted through the sheets of water. A sleek black car skidded slightly as it came to a stop in front of his garage, smoke curling from under the hood. Rashid's brow furrowed. Cars like that didn't usually make it to his part of the city. They belonged to people with enough money to own multiple garages, not someone like him. But there it was, and the driver. She stepped out. Rashid froze for a moment. She was breathtaking. Tall and graceful, with long black hair plastered to her face by the rain, wearing a designer coat that shimmered faintly despite the grey light. Her high heels made soft splashes in the puddles, yet she moved with confidence that seemed oddly out of place in the deserted alley. She clutched a small leather handbag to her chest, eyes darting nervously toward the smoke rising from her car. "Please, can you help me?" Her voice was soft but urgent. "My car. It just stopped and I don't know what to do." Rashid blinked, trying to shake off the momentary paralysis. Yeah, sure. Pull it inside. I'll take a look." He gestured toward the garage. She nodded, gratitude flashing across her features, though her eyes betrayed a deeper worry, something he couldn't place. As she steered the car slowly into the garage, Rashid noticed the make and model. High-end, complicated, beyond what he usually dealt with. But he didn't let that deter him. Opening the hood, Rashid's eyes scanned the intricate engine, wires snaking like a metallic web. He muttered under his breath, running his fingers along the surfaces, checking the usual suspects, fluids, belts, connections. Meanwhile, she stood a few feet away, hands clasped tightly, watching his every move. You're not afraid to touch it?" she asked, curiosity lacing her voice. Rashid shrugged, a faint smile tugging at his lips. "I fix cars. Doesn't matter whose they are. If it's broken, I try to make it right." She seemed surprised by his simple answer. Her eyes softened, and for a brief moment the rain outside seemed to fade into the background. They worked in silence, the occasional clink of metal the only sound. Rashid could feel her gaze, and though it made him slightly self-conscious, it also brought a strange comfort. He was used to engines, not compliments or attention. Minutes stretched into hours. The rain showed no sign of stopping, and the grey light of the afternoon began to wane. Rashid wiped his hands again, examining the engine one last time. A few careful adjustments later, the car rumbled to life. The engine's roar was strong, smooth, a stark contrast to the sputtering it had produced before. She exhaled, relief evident in the soft shake of her shoulders. "Oh, thank you," she whispered, her voice almost drowned by the rain. "I don't know how to repay you." Rashid waved his hands dismissively, leaning against the car. "Don't worry about it. Just drive safe." But she hesitated, her eyes flicking to her bag. Rashid noticed a small envelope slip from it, and before he could react, she handed it to him. "Open it when you're alone," she murmured, her lips curving into a fleeting, mysterious smile. Before he could ask why, she turned and walked back toward her car. The way she moved was elegant, almost ethereal, and Rashid found himself staring longer than he should have. Then she was gone, tires hissing on the wet asphalt, leaving behind only the faint scent of jasmine and the echo of her presence. Rashid looked down at the envelope, curiosity warring with caution. Slowly he opened it. Inside there was a small card, its surface smooth and pristine, and a single sentence written in neat, deliberate handwriting. I can't tell anyone who I really am, but I need your help. He stared at it, heart thudding in his chest. Help? Him? How could a stranger possibly need help from someone like him? His life was simple, predictable, ordinary. He fixed cars. That was it. And yet, the words tugged at something inside him. A mix of curiosity, responsibility, and a strange excitement he couldn't explain. Rashid leaned back against the hood, staring at the card. The rain continued to fall, drumming against the tin roof and puddles outside. For a moment he imagined what kind of person she could be. A rich heiress, a celebrity in disguise, or someone running from trouble he couldn't even fathom. He chuckled to himself. His life was about to get complicated, and he had no idea how much. Later, when he finally closed the envelope and put it in his pocket, Rashid cleaned up the garage in a mechanical, almost soothing rhythm. Yet every few minutes, his eyes drifted toward the empty street outside, half expecting to see the sleek black car return. His heart skipped every time a shadow moved in the rain. That night, as he lay on the small bed in his tiny apartment above the garage, he couldn't sleep. He turned the envelope over in his hands again and again, reading and rereading the sentence. His mind raced with possibilities, each one more thrilling and terrifying than the last. Who was she? What did she want? And why had she chosen him? Sleep finally came in fragments. Dreams filled with images of a mysterious woman, rain-soaked streets, and an envelope that seemed to pulse with secrets. By morning, Rashid knew one thing. His ordinary life had changed forever. He didn't know it yet. But the woman in the black coat, the envelope, and the rain had set him on a path that would test everything he knew about courage, trust and destiny, and somewhere deep down, a spark of anticipation flared inside him. For the first time in a long time, Rashid was ready for something extraordinary. The next morning, Rashid woke to the sound of rain tapping insistently against his small apartment window. The envelope sat on his bedside table, a silent reminder of the previous day's events. He had tried to push it out of his mind, telling himself it was just a rich woman in trouble, and he was a mechanic, not some hero. Yet the words kept echoing. I can't tell anyone who I really am, but I need your help. Hours passed. Rashid found himself unable to focus on the usual worn workbench. Her hands trembled slightly, betraying he do. Rashid took a deep breath. He wasn't a hero. He wasn't brave or cunning. He fixed cars, and that was the extent of his world. Yet looking into her eyes, he felt something stir, a strange responsibility, a connection he didn't understand. All right, he said finally, his voice firmer than he felt.
I'll help.
But I need to know exactly what I'm getting into. Aisha nodded, relief softening her features. I'll explain everything, she said. But you have to promise me no one else can know. Not your friends, not your family. This has to stay between us. Over the next few hours, she explained the situation. Her father's company was at the center of a web of corruption and deceit. Some board members had manipulated funds, hidden contracts, and were trying to frame her father to gain control. Aisha had uncovered evidence and was determined to expose the truth, but now her life was in danger. Rashid listened, absorbing every detail. It was like stepping into another world, one of wealth, power, and ruthless ambition, completely alien to him. He felt a surge of fear, but also a strange thrill. Here he was, a small-town mechanic, entrusted with secrets that could topple corporations. Why are you telling me all this? He asked, trying to hear whispered. Aisha's eyes widened, but she didn't panic. She handed Rashid a small flash drive. The hours that followed were tense. Rashid and Aisha devised a plan to keep her safe. They moved the flash drive into a hidden compartment in one of his old vehicles and set a few traps around the garage to alert them of intruders. Rashid's knowledge of mechanics became their first line of defense. As night fell, the rain finally eased. The garage, once quiet and mundane, now hummed with tension and purpose. Rashid watched Aisha as she reviewed documents, her focus absolute. He realized something profound. In the midst of fear and uncertainty, she was unyielding. She was strong, not just in position,